I have a question for Zoe. A lot of beginning writers are told by their teachers and so on that you're supposed to stay strictly in the point of view, and we discussed this a bit earlier when you were talking about first person versus third person. I noticed in your reading that you switched within the scene back and forth between the points of view.
Yeah.
What benefits did you see to doing that, which is basically breaking something that a lot of newer writers are told not to do?
Yeah, I never went to a creative writing kind of course, and clearly I should have done. And it's very interesting to point that out because it was the battleground for my American editor and me. And she said, you're not allowed to do that. And I said, but what are you talking about? Surely, you're always moving from one point of view to another. Who said it? Where? Don't people do it all the time? I kept on trying to think of a great example, but I couldn't. And then she said rather wonderfully, well, yes, some people do it with greater and lesser degrees of success. Right. Yeah, right. Now we've got it seemed to me it was, so the confession is that I didn't actually know I was breaking rules until somebody pointed it out to me. It made sense to me because that opening chapter is a chapter about misprision, about the quite drastic misreadings that two people make of one another. And it's at the beginning of a 40-year marriage. And I needed very much to have two visions of one another. And his perception of her parents and her perception of him as a sort of dashing American radical and so on. And I was sort of greedy. I wanted to have both their voices.
If I can jump in, I mean, I think, it's a nonsense rule. Really, it's a nonsense rule. It's ridiculous. I did go to creative writing at school in America, but somehow no one ever told me that. And it's interesting because in my book I do that as well. And again, my previous novels, the three prior to this, were first person. So this was my first time out. And yes, you don't want to kind of jump in a kind of frenzied manner, because you don't want your readers to say, where are we? But you have to utilize the tools that are given to you, and one of the things that third person gives you is it allows you to do precisely what Zoe talked about, that you have the one scene, and within that you can see two different or three different characters and how they are viewing the moment separately, and to say there is a rule that decides you can't do that. It's a bit silly.
I think you can do it, and there's I think even textbooks, all the fiction textbooks say you can do it. But the principle is you should do it as smoothly.
Yeah.
And the basic rules, conventionally, when you change a section, that's the best point you start a switch point of view. Or in the dialogue, person dialogue, when people exchange words, the reader tend to forget point of view. So we can start from one person's point of view and comes out from another character's point of view. And also you can use description. For instance, Malamud in the story, the masterpiece, The Magic Barrel, if you look carefully, when he described the moon, to begin with the marriage broker's point of view, but the end, and talk about ends with the rabbi, the student's point of view. So as long as you make it smoothly, that's fine. No textbooks. No textbooks that you can't do it. You can do it, but you have to do it in a subtle way.